Democrats appear to have dodged a bullet in California primaries last night, despite concerns that the sheer number of candidates could cancel one another out. But there's a long way to go to November, and the path forward for Democrats in their attempt to take back the House of Representatives goes through suburban Republican-held districts in California and in New Jersey that Hillary Clinton carried in 2016. Districts like New Jersey's 7th that our next guest, Congressman Lance, represents. Congressman Lance is a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and he joins us now from Capitol Hill. So, Congressman, thank you very much for being back with us at Bloomberg.
Thank you, David.
So it's not a big surprise you got nominated last night. You're going to run on the Republican side. You do have an opponent now. As you look at the race, looking forward to November now, for your district, for Congress, how do you see it?
I believe the people in the district I serve want bipartisan cooperation, David, to move the nation forward. And that is why I am a member of what is known as the Problem Solvers Caucus, and we work in a completely bipartisan fashion to try to address the pressing issues confronting this country.
So I'm not an expert in these things at all, but I did some rough math now just looking at the votes last night. And you obviously won by a landslide, no question. But if you take the total number of Republicans voting in your district in the primary yesterday and compare with the Democrats, there are quite a few more Democrats who turned out to vote. Does that tell you anything that might be a cautionary tale about likely turnout come November?
The turnout was much higher for the Democrats at the presidential level 2 years ago. And independents in our district tend to lean Republican. Of course, not all independents, but there is a slight voter advantage for Republicans in the district. This election, as is true of almost all elections in New Jersey, will be determined by independent voters. And in the district I serve, they tend to be Republicans to a slightly greater extent than Democrats. Hillary Clinton carried our district by 3,800 votes 2 years ago. I was honored to carry it by 38,000 votes, and so I think my views are the views of the overwhelming majority of the residents I serve.
So what do your constituents care about come November?
The constituency I serve cares about moving forward in a bipartisan capacity, Sherry, and not engaging in over-partisanship. And from my perspective, the extreme right and the extreme left do not really have the answers for these nation's greatest problems. We should govern from the center out. I'm a moderately conservative Republican, and I think that those are the views of the constituents I serve.
On your point on bipartisanship, you are one of the first Republicans to sign on to the DACA discharge petition. So how many signatures do you need right now to move those immigration proposals, and when do you think you can get them?
We need 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, or 2 Democrats and 3 Republicans, and so we're very close, and most of the Democrats have signed, but I think 3 have not. 2 have indicated they will sign, and depending on whether all 3 are signed, then we need 2 Republicans or 3 more Republicans, and so we are extremely close, Sherry.
So Congressman, let's assume from though you get it through. Let's assume the House approves it. What is the Senate going to be willing to approve? What version of this do you think will make it through to actually become law, or at least end up on the president's desk?
There are likely to be 4 proposals on the floor of the House. A proposal from the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Goodlatte, a proposal from the Democrats, a placeholder for a proposal by leadership. But the one I favor is known as the Hurd-Aguilar bill. Congressman Hurd is a Republican from Texas. Congressman Aguilar is a Democrat from California. And that does provide a path to citizenship for Dreamers, but it also increases border security. I think it's an excellent compromise, and I am a co-sponsor of that bill.
Let me go back for a moment to Sherry's question. We understand what your position is and why you take the position. If you get that through, will that be important to your constituents? Will that help them decide come November whom they're going to vote for? Is that toward the top of the list?
It is one of the issues. I do not represent a district where there is a significant immigrant population, but there certainly are immigrants in our district. And at town hall meetings I have held, and I hold town hall meetings regularly, the immigration issue is one of those issues that is addressed. And I answer the question in a way that I think is responsive to my constituency, and that includes a path to citizenship for dreamers. They came here as infants or toddlers or children, and I hope we can do that. I also favor greater border security because we don't want to go through this situation a generation from now, as we're now going through the situation, David. On the fact that in 1986, we really didn't address the challenge at our southern border.
This petition, though, does go against your leadership. Is that going to cause a problem ahead of the midterm elections when you actually need unity for the GOP?
I think that it would be to the benefit of Republicans on Capitol Hill if we were to place on the floor and then over in the Senate a bill like Hurd-Aguilar. And I am hopeful that the president would be willing to sign that bill. I think that that would help Republicans because we currently hold a majority in both the House and the Senate.
Congressman, it's always helpful for us to hear from you. It's Congressman Leonard Lance, Republican of New Jersey and member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Still ahead.